Glad to have you back. I look forward to hearing from you all on the new rule that may get members suspended, especially in view of the court ruling that you heard of there. Just get across to us, hashtag it, hashtag NAS rule. You got that? NAS rule. We'll be waiting to hear from you. Now, let's go to, yes, you have it, the list. Let's go to the list.
Confirmation of ministerial nominees.
It took the Senate President just 2 minutes to read out the much-awaited ministerial list.
The partial list of ministerial nominees. 1. Abubakar Malami, SAN. 2. Abdurrahman Bello Dambazao. Aisha Jumai Al-Hassan. Alhaji Lai Muhammad. Babatunde Raji Fashola. Barrister Adebayo Shitu. Barrister Solomon Dalong. Dr. Senator Chris Mwabeze Ngige. Chibuke Rotimi Amechi. Chief Audu Innocent Ogbe. Mrs. Amina Ibrahim. Dr. Osage Henare. Dr. Emmanuel Ibe Kachuku. Dr. Kayode Fayemi. Engineer Suleiman Adamu. Mrs. Kemi Adeosun. Dr. Bonana Onu. Honorable Ahmed Musa Ibeto. Ibrahim Usman Jibril. Senator Hadi Sirika. And Senator Udoma Udo Udoma.
And just like that, the identities of people nominated to serve as ministers were officially made public. But the names read out by the Senate President would not be a surprise to many Nigerians. Social and print media have been predicting those who will be on the list. Some of the predictions turned out to be true. But one lawmaker was not satisfied with the number of ministerial nominees sent to the Senate.
When this list was coming, we expected full 36, not partial. After 3 months, after 4 months, we believe that the time for partial has gone.
Some lawmakers spoke about what they think about the ministerial list.
For me, there is no change. I mean, it's business as usual. The people who appeared on that list are the people we've always known, former governors, former ministers, people we know.
The caliber of people that are on the list are people known everywhere in this country. They have their track records, and the president of the country decided to bring them back and give them a portfolio. They are people that we know. They are not just from blues.
The Senate President has fixed Tuesday, October 13th, for the screening of the nominees. Senate spokesman told journalists that the screening was fixed for Tuesday next week to allow lawmakers study the resume of the nominees thoroughly. He also said the Senate would not be partial in the screening exercise.
The Senate is ready and capacitated to receive petitions on any of the nominees. I want to assure Nigerians that every petition received will receive due, a diligent attention. I cannot say categorically here now how many petitions have been received, but I want to assure you that in screening the candidates, or rather, in screening the nominees of Mr. President, petitions received will also be looked at. And all petitions will receive the attention of the Senate, will be looked into, and will also form basis for our screening.
Barring any last-minute change, the Senate will begin the screening exercise of the ministerial nominees next Tuesday, October 13th, right here in the Senate chamber. Now, lawmakers have said they will do a thorough job in the screening exercise. Now, 5 ministerial nominees are former lawmakers, and usually the tradition of the Senate is that when former lawmakers come for screening, they are asked to take a bow and go. But this time, the Senate says former lawmakers will be questioned just as much as the other ministerial nominees.
Reactions have swiftly trailed the unveiling of the list of ministerial nominees from within and outside the National Assembly. Some petitions have also been submitted against some of the nominees. Representative Gavel Akintayo from the House of Representatives says the petitions are just allegations which the legislature will consider.
You have just said these people have petition against them. Petition is petition. These are just allegations. We have not been proven in any court of law. And until they are found guilty and convicted, nobody can say they are guilty of the petition written against them. So we have to give them the benefit of doubt. If eventually the petition is ongoing, if they are found guilty, I'm very sure the president will know which step to take to be able to stop them. And so far, we also have the act. They are going to face the legislators. They are going to face the National Assembly. If some of these senators or representatives have anything against them, vis-a-vis the petition written against them, I know they will put it forward. And coupled with the fact that there will be a background check on any of them, either through the FCC or the SSA, so on. So if those organizations have found anything against any of them on the list, vis-a-vis the petition written against them, I'm very sure they will be in position to put it forward.
Meanwhile, senators from River States have submitted a petition to the Senate against the nomination and confirmation of the former governor of River State, Rotimi Amechi, as minister. Mr. Amechi was one of the 21 ministerial nominees unveiled on Tuesday by Senate President Bukola Saraki. The petition was written by a non-governmental organization, the Integrity Group, based in Port Harcourt, River State capital. Presenting the petition on the floor of the Senate, a federal lawmaker from River State, Senator George Sekibo, informed the Senate that the petition bordered on principally on corruption and breach of trust leveled against Mr. Amechi. The Senate President thereafter referred the petition to the Senate Committee on Ethics and Privileges for consideration.
On behalf of my other colleagues, Senator Olaka Nwogu and Senator Idiozo Sinachuku from River State. Mr. President, we have a petition signed by one Livingstone Weche and so many others, numbers that we cannot mention here, on issues of blatant fraud and corruptive practice against Rotimi Amechi.
Well, the Senate is getting set for the screening. On Thursday, they came out with rules for the screening.
Some ministerial nominees about to exit the National Assembly. They came to submit their resumes ahead of the screening exercise next week, Tuesday. But the ministerial nominees have their work cut out for them. This is because the Senate has put up a rigorous screening process. The Senate, at a closed-door meeting on Wednesday, set out the modalities that would shape the screening exercise. Reeling out the modalities to journalists after the plenary session, the Senate spokesman said the modalities revolve around two major areas: relevant constitutional provisions, as well as practice and convention of the Senate.
Every ministerial nominee must produce proof of compliance as required by the Constitution and the standing rules of the Senate. You must declare your assets, and we must have a certificate of proof that you have declared your assets, and you have given a certificate of proof by the Code of Conduct Bureau. And the issue of states, the Constitution is very clear in Section 1473. The Constitution did not talk about adoption of a state by marriage. The Constitution is very categorical. It said any appointment under Section 2 of this Constitution, I'm talking about Section 147 sub 3, right? It said any appointment under subsection 2 of this section by the President shall be in conformity with the provisions of Section 14.3 of this Constitution, provided that in giving effect to the provisions aforesaid, the President shall appoint at least one minister from each state who shall be an indigene of such state. So the Constitution did not elucidate indigene by marriage, or indigene by birth, or indigene by association, or indigene by relationship. But everyone have a state of origin. The Constitution is saying that you shall be an origin of that, indigene, sorry, of that state.
Earlier at plenary, the Senate President received a petition from the Southern Kaduna Coalition against Amina Mohammed, who is a ministerial nominee. The group in the petition filed against Amina Ibrahim complained that she is not an indigene of a state. They urged President Buhari in the 7-page petition to nominate a minister from her state, Gombe, and not Kaduna, her state of marriage. The Senate President directed the chairman, Senate Committee on Ethics and Public Petitions, Senator Sam Anyao, to forward reports of the committee's findings on all petitions against ministerial nominees to the Senate before Tuesday next week.
Well, there you have it. So, what do you think of these guidelines? Let's hear from you. Write in, tweet us, tweet me. Our addresses are on the screen, or you can reach me on my Twitter handle at LLSISI. I look forward to hearing from you. Till next week, when hopefully we will be discussing how the screening went, I'm Lanre Lasese. Goodbye.